we're back. Back with another episode of the Hindsight Podcast. The podcast that has really no fucking direction at all. But anyway, so first thing at the top of the episode I have, somebody sent in a little Reddit thing. Basically some Q&As that I'm going to do really quick. Let's start at the top. How far does someone have to be from you to qualify not holding the door open for them? That's a good fucking question, because that could be really awkward. Someone could be, 20, 30 feet behind you while you're entering through the door, and then you just kind of stand there for, 5 or 10 seconds. I'd say if they're like 50 feet away, they can go ahead and get the fucking door on their own. To the people who lie down and fall asleep within minutes, how? That sounds more like a question than a question that needs to be answered by me. What's your biggest regret and why? Right now, my biggest regret would probably be not following through with my YouTube, because I was really passionate about it a few years ago, and I kind of just gave up when things got rough. So, huge regret right there. Next one, let's see. If you were being tortured, what would be the one thing that would make you talk? The one thing that would... it depends on how I'm being tortured. Are we talking like water drops or bamboo splinters in the fingernails or just being hung upside down? It really depends on the severity of the torture. What are some things that are extremely underrated? To me, some things that are extremely underrated, well, right now it's kind of a trend, but taking photos with old cameras or disposable cameras, that shit's really fucking fun. If school had a loading screen, what would some of the tips be? I'm gonna skip that question. I don't know what that fucking means. What do you absolutely hate? I hate bad drivers. I hate people that talk about a subject in which they are very uneducated about. That is a pet peeve of mine. And yeah. They say be yourself, but what if your real self is a jerk? My advice to that is then be a jerk and just explain that's who you are and be real about it. If you're really a jerk, you're a jerk. Just get used to the fact that not many people are going to like you. All right, I'm going to end the Q&A right there. Some of these questions are just kind of ridiculous, so I'm not going to get into all of these questions. But so last time we left off with the first day I had with my mom in probably 3 or 4 years, maybe something like that. Coffee quick. So I kind of want to talk about a story that has been stuck in my mind ever since it happened. So me and my mom were pretty much inseparable since the day that she picked me up from juvie. Well, that's a lie. There would be times that she would leave me alone for a long time, like so long that I ran out of food and water, and days went by after that where I still had no food or water. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But man, so my mom had this boyfriend named Shane, and we used to live in his fifth wheel, but his fifth wheel was in the driveway of his parents' house. His parents were obviously wealthy. They had a very nice house, couple nice, vehicles in the driveway, whatever. So Shane's fifth wheel was parked in like a gravel driveway beside their cement driveway. And it was underneath like a giant cover for a fifth wheel. So it was covered. And one day, my mom took me there and she was like, look, buddy, this is where we're going to have to stay for a while. And I was super excited. I was like, okay, we don't have to, stay at Shane's and I don't have to sleep on a couch. I get this, we get this fifth wheel, whatever. It's not that bad. And we get out of the van, we go to the fifth wheel, and I look inside, and I mean, it's just a fucking mess. I mean, there's like shit everywhere. I mean, you could tell that a tweaker lives there. It's just very easy to tell that a tweaker fucking lives there. So I'm kind of like confused. I'm like, where am I going to sleep, and all this. And then my mom is like, come up here with me, buddy. And she opens up the emergency latch on the roof. It's like a little opening to escape in case of an emergency, whatever. And we go up there and there's a mattress, just a single mattress on the roof. It's just chilling. Couple blankets, a couple pillows. And my mom's like, this is your bedroom. What? My bedroom is the roof of a fifth wheel in some fucking old lady's driveway? Like, I was really uncomfortable after she told me that. And she went back down and talked to Shane or whatever. And I just sat on the roof and like cried. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was super sad and depressed. This was like a really low point. But I got over it. I was like, whatever, it could be worse. And it kind of got worse. I hopped off the roof of the trailer. So I was standing behind the fifth wheel. And I stand on this toolbox that's on the ground. And I look up into the window. And there's Shane and my mom just fucking in broad daylight. And I was like, oh, whatever. Weird. And anyway, one of his friends pulled up. They had to quit fucking, and then they did their thing, whatever. They left. Me and my mom stayed at the trailer for a few hours. Shane came back with some meth, I'm assuming, because they were happy. And I didn't even get to sleep on the roof the first night. Me and my mom slept in the van that Shane let us use. It was like a fucking old-ass Dodge Sprinter van. And we slept on the fucking floor in there that night. And I mean, it was rough, man, being in that position with your mom. And she has a conscience, so she's sitting there and she's trying to apologize, like, I'm so sorry, this is what we have to do and all this other stuff, and I was like a hippie at the time, so I was really accepting. I was like, it's whatever. I was like, at least we're alive and we have each other. So we go to sleep. We wake up the next morning. I feel like shit because I just slept on a fucking metal floor in a van. And we wake up. Shane comes outside. And then he hands me a can of like Coke. But it's crushed. It's crushed and it's got holes poked in it so that you could smoke pot out of it. And he hands it to me and I grab it and there's like the tiniest little fucking like half burnt green bowl on top. He's like, oh, this is all I got, man. I'm sorry. And I just couldn't help but think like, how fucking pathetic was that? Like, dude, like, but I smoked it, got stoned. I don't really remember what happened the rest of the day, but I remember the next day, a lot of shit went down with Shane and his parents, and he couldn't stay in the driveway anymore. So we mobbed around for a few days trying to find a place that we could crash. And, during those few days, we slept in the Cutlass because that was the car he had. He had a 1975 Cutlass Supreme. I'm not going to lie. That was the best thing about Shane was his fucking car. It had a 455 in it. And we would sleep in there. During those days, we were, in between couches to sleep on. So I remember one day we ended up at the Bethel. Or no, not the Bethel. I think it was Bothwell. No, it was the Bethel Hotel in Bremerton. The Bethel Hotel, which is just ghetto. If you know what Bremerton is, and you know what the Bethel Motel is, then you know that place is just fucking. It's creepy looking from a distance, and it's just dark, and there's drugs all over, and there's just people walking around with fucking like scabs and fucking lice, and I just fucking get itchy when I think about it. But we ended up there. We got a room on the bottom floor, and everything was good that night. You know, we went to Albertsons and we stole a bunch of fucking fried chicken, so we were, feasting, and I passed out. My mom and Shane passed out, and I clearly remember my mom waking me up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and she was putting her pointer finger to her nose, like, tell me to shh, be quiet, be quiet. So we get up really quiet, we grab all of our stuff while Shane's still sleeping, and we close the door, and we go out to the car, and we put all of our stuff in the car, and then we start to take off. But let me mention, at this point, the car doesn't have a windshield. I forgot to mention that. So we have no windshield, right? So we get in the car's got no windshield. We start to take off. We get out of town and we hit the highway. And not having a windshield on the highway sucks just as that. But then you start to add in pouring fucking rain. It was the worst drive. I was stoned, I was hungry, I was tired, confused. My mom just woke me up and we just left her boyfriend at the motel. I had no idea why. And then now I have these fucking raindrops coming in at me at like 70 miles an hour, hitting me in the face and in the arms. Feels like a bunch of pins and needles are hitting me. But anyway, we drove for a couple hours and we stopped at this gas station out in the middle of the woods, and we were walking around trying to obviously find stuff to steal, and we were back in the alcohol, and I told my mom about juice, Joose, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, Mom, these will get us fucked up. And she didn't believe me, so we got 4 of them, and we get back to the truck. I start drinking mine. I got a blue one, whatever flavor that is. She's chugging hers. She's already drank like 1.5 at this time. I'm almost done with mine. And then we get to where we're going, which is some dude's fucking trailer. I had no idea. So we get there, and then we're just chilling. We're just chilling and hanging out. And I realize how fucked up I am at this point. Like, I'm super fucking drunk. And then my mom starts to explain to me that we need to leave Shane's car, and we're going to have to trade it out. And I was kind of bummed out because I was like, I love mobbing in this car. I was like, it makes us look cool. It makes us not look homeless when we have this car. I was like, please, no. But, we just stole it, so we had to switch it out for something. So my mom traded it to this dude that we went to go meet. She traded it to him for like a 1981 Chevy pickup that was like baby blue, just like complete opposite vehicle. So we get that car, she gets some dope, we leave, we're heading back to Bremerton, and I'm like, where are we gonna go? I have no idea where we're gonna go. And we pull up to what is my little brother's house at the time, where he lives with his dad, Adam. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to stop by for a visit. And she goes, this is where we're going to stay. She goes, Adam just went to prison. This is our house now. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We got a fucking home. I don't have to deal with Shane or none of your dumb boyfriends or none of your sugar daddies. I was like, this is fucking perfect. I got my own bedroom. Everything was great. And I had a lot of friends who would come over, and like they'd skip high school because I lived like 3 blocks away from Bremerton High School. And I had this group of girls that would come over every fucking morning, wake me up, we'd smoke, because I was always the one with weed. I'm kind of skipping a little bit of stuff in the middle, but I was always the one with weed. And they always came over every morning to get stoned, so I could smoke them out and all that stuff, And I remember one morning it pissed me off. I was just not in the mood. and they came inside. My mom let them in. She always fucking answered the door naked. So they were all fucking screaming about that. Oh my God, I can't believe your mom's in the house naked. All this other shit. And they all came in my room, sat down, and they brought this gay kid with them, which doesn't bother me. I don't have a problem with gay people. It's when they come on to me and they don't stop. And this kid, he was fucking persistent. And I remember one time, a couple of the girls tried to hold me down on my bed while he dry humped my butt. And that fucking pissed me off. Like, I fucking went off. But anyway, they were over in my room. I was mad because I just wanted to sleep. So I loaded up a bong bowl and I handed it to this girl that I had a crush on at the time. I don't know why I handed it to her. Her name was Alexia, I think. But my homie at the time had a thing for her, so I couldn't step in. But I gave her the bong, but little did she know, I put like 0.4 of a gram of dope on top of the bowl. She didn't even pay attention. Like, I guess it could have just looked like a bunch of THC crystals, but I put a bunch of dope on top of the bowl, hand her the bong, she rips it, they pass it around, and then I gets back around to me and I set it down, and Alexia is just like, I feel so amazing right now. I was like, yeah, I bet you do. She's like, what the fuck is going on with this pot? You know, I'm really lifted right now. I'm so elevated. I don't know what's going on. And I never told him. I was like, you know, I'm not going to fucking say shit. You guys come over here, want free stuff. You're going to get something for free. And that's what you got. So, they weren't there long. They could not sit still for more than like 10 seconds. And they fucking bolted out the door. They're screaming, thanks, Zach, see you tomorrow, as they left and all that shit. And I was like, oh my God. And they fucking went running down to the high school and all this other shit. And fucking, it was so funny. Well, the next day, I was chilling, drinking a cup of coffee, watching the news. And Alexia's face popped up on the news. And I was like, whoa, that's ironic. I was just chilling with her yesterday. And fucking she freaked out when she got to school, I guess. She went crazy on a teacher and like bit her neck like fucking vampire style, sucked the bitch's blood, pulled out hair, fucking was throwing shit all around the classroom, just freaking the fuck out. And fucking paramedics came, cops came. There was even a helicopter fucking doop 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 around the neighborhood. And the lady who was telling the story was like so funny, and she is like, comes to find out, she had methamphetamines in her system. And I was like, no shit. I was like, I caused that whole fucking scenario. I can't believe that happened because of me. And I felt good about it, because I was like, fuck you guys. You guys are going to come over to my house and request free drugs all the time. You're going to get free drugs. I just never told you what kind you're taking. So that was a hell of a fucking time. God, I miss those times, man. There were so many times at that house where people would come over and just chill. Because my mom, if there was one thing she was good at back then, it was stealing and getting me weed. Because there was never a time that I didn't have at least a fucking half pound of weed in my backpack at all times. So everybody liked me. Everybody wanted to smoke. And that brings me to a quick little story. I remember chilling in the house. It was about mid-afternoon. So the high school and junior high kids should be getting out soon. And I had a bus stop that led off right in front of my house. So, and I used to date this girl named Marin. And she was kind of like a little bit of a slut back then. Like everybody knew that, you know, she fucked. There's nothing wrong with that. I fucked her. We actually had a lot of fun together. We used to do a lot of cocaine with this Jewish guy. He had a red afro, and we used to fucking do cocaine off a CD case in the mall parking lot. when he would pick us up from junior high after we skipped school. Like, weird shit. But Marin came to my house one day, and she was like, hey, you want to hang out? Me and my friends, we could smoke. We could go hang out at my house, whatever. So me and Marin walked to her house, meet up with a couple of her friends, and then we mobbed down to Jeffrey Fudge's house. I think that was his name, Jeff Fudge. And we mobbed down to his house, and we're chilling in like the basement stairs, where the cement stairs go from the outside to the basement door. And we're all just chilling there. We're smoking tough. You know what I mean? Like, we've got blunts going around, a couple pipes going around. It's all a good time. We're joking. And then someone's like, man, we need to roll up another blunt. And I was like, all right. So I pulled out my bag and unzip my bag, and I pull out my fat bag of weed, and like the girls that were like sitting to the left side of me, like their jaw dropped. And it looked like they were like in love. And they're like, oh my God, how do you get that much weed? They were just so impressed by how much weed I had. And I didn't want to say, well, because my mom gives it to me. I was like, well, it's because I'm a gangster. That's why. I was like, I'm a drug dealer, bitch. And I wanted to look really cool. I was only 14, 15 at the time. So I reached in, grab a handful, give it to a girl, reach in, grab another handful, give it to a girl, reach in, grab a handful. And I fucking sat there, and everybody got a handful of bud from me that day. And fucking like a half hour goes by. A couple people went inside to watch a movie. So now it's just me and these two girls chilling. No, it wasn't Marin. Marin went inside with Jeff. It was two of her friends. I do not remember their names. One of them was blonde, and one of them was brunette with like shorter curly hair. And we were just smoking, just the three of us. We kept smoking and smoking. And then they're like, well, maybe we should take a break and, whatever. And this one girl, she starts to rub my leg. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, what the fuck's going on? And then the other girl comes to sit on the right side of me. So I got a girl on the right side, a girl on the left side. And now they're both simultaneously rubbing my thighs. I was like, oh, is this about to fucking happen? Is this shit about to go down? She unzips my pants, pulls out my dick, and goes to fucking town. And mind you, the house that we're chilling at is right on the side of the road. Like if someone was at the stoplight and they just turned their head to the left, they could see what's going on. So it was like really fucking nerve-wracking and crazy and exciting. So I just sat there, and I got a blowjob from these two girls because I gave them a bunch of weed. And moral of the story is, if you give a bunch of weed to pretty girls, they'll probably suck your dick. So I had so many good times during that time of my life, and then so many more shitty times. But I will always remember those good times where I basically paid for blowjobs from underage girls for with weed. And I was underage at the time too. I was only 14, 15. So crazy shit, guys, crazy shit. My next episode, I'm not really sure what I want to do for my next episode. I think I'm just going to continue to talk about more of these stories. I'm having a really fun time with telling you guys a lot about what's going on with what's happened in my life and how it's led me to this point and everything like that. So, but really quick, I want to talk about Honey. Honey, guys, is an amazing app. It's free. All you got to do is go download Honey. I know a lot of you shop online. Everybody shops online nowadays. And Honey saves you money. No, not trying to rhyme here, but Honey really does save you money. You download the app and that's it. You could go proceed to shop online, whatever you need to do. And when you go to check out, Honey automatically finds and applies discounts and coupon codes to the stuff that you just bought. So no matter what website you're on, no matter where you're at or what you're buying, Honey is finding coupons and finding you discounts while you're shopping. And then when you go to check out, it automatically applies those coupon codes to your cart, and you automatically save money without doing anything except for downloading the app one time. Guys, Honey is really worth it. I suggest you go give it a try. Honey, it'll save you some fucking money. All right, so that was a quick little thing for Honey. So this has been episode number 2 of the Hindsight Podcast. I really wanted to talk about some more, but I'm trying to keep these podcasts around 30 to 40 minutes. This one might be a little bit short, but that's okay. I don't need to take up your whole fucking day with my angelic voice. So I hope you guys are having an amazing fucking day, an amazing morning, amazing night, whenever you're listening to this shit. Quick advice, no regrets, never go to bed angry. Always tell your family and everybody around you that you love them, because you never know when your last day will be your last. You guys, this is Zach Nasty signing off for the Hindsight Podcast. I'll see you guys next time.